super excited to be with you guys. How are you guys doing this morning? Coming to you via video, as you guys can see, obviously. Go and turn to your neighbor and tell them, I'm excited, I'm about to get something good. Go and tell them, I'm excited, I'm about to get something good. All right. Well, we've been on this series. We're talking about being a sheep or being a goat. It's the sheep or the goat. And it's all based off this passage that we've been reading in the book of Matthew chapter 25. And so we're going to jump right into that again. But it's so wonderful that as God teaches us life lessons, as you've learned something, you've ever been through a situation, whether it's a bad breakup or a tragedy situation or whatever, maybe it's even something small, but as you go through life situations, you learn something, you gain knowledge, you become wiser, you become smarter. Now you have tools in your toolbox to use to do things, to handle different things. Now you can actually help other people. And that's what it's about. It's about taking what you have, what you've learned, and using it for God's kingdom, using it to help out friends, using it to help out other people. And that's what it's all about. Some of you might be asking, well, how do I go and take that next step? How do I help people with what I've learned? And secondly, you might be asking, well, why should I? Why should I even do that? And I wanted to read to you Matthew chapter 25, verse 30. And it says, "And the king will say, I tell you the truth, when you did it for one of the least of these, my brothers and sisters, you were doing it for me." God's saying, when you do it for the rest of my children, when you do it for my people, when you reach out and help, when you go out of your way and take time to do something to help somebody else, you're actually doing it for me. Now I know some of us, we think, man, there's no way that I could ever repay God. And you're right. He gave His life for us so that we could be forgiven, so that we can have new life and we can see Him in heaven. But He says, if you want to serve me, go and serve my people. And that's what I want you to get, and that's what I want you to understand. Once I had the opportunity to take a trip across seas and go over to India, and I was out there with the team, and they approached us about visiting this certain village. This village had a special disease inside of it, and it was called a leprosy disease. And actually it's a biblical disease. It talked about it back in the Bible times. And Jesus healed a whole bunch of people that had leprosy. But in India, they had this specific village out there where the whole group, the whole village had leprosy, and they were all blocked off with these big old walls, and nobody went inside for fear that they were going to catch some type of disease or sickness and stuff like that. But they said, we know that you guys are Christians, and we know that you believe in this all-powerful God, this God who can do anything, this God who can do miracles, this God who can heal people. So if you guys would like to go in there, you can do it. And so they were like, yes, you know what, we're going to do it. We're going to go and we're going to let God move. And so we just went over there. We took them some food, some rice and some things. And then they gave me an opportunity to share some message. So as the whole village just came out and they kind of stepped around, and they're missing limbs. They got limbs cut off, their arms cut off, legs come off, missing feet, because the disease is literally eating them alive. It's eating them alive. But they all gathered as best as they could with crutches and they carrying each other. And I began to share the message of Jesus Christ. And I began to share hope with them and share this message of eternal life. That their body they have now is not going to last forever, but there's going to be a body that will last forever. And I began to share this message with them. And it was so powerful, and God was moving. And afterwards, we went around, myself and the rest of the team, and we went and laid hands on each and every one of them, and asked God's blessing, and asked and helped them ask Jesus into their heart, and gave them hope, and prayed that God would do a miracle in them. You see, what happened is we took time out of our life as we let God speak into us and teach us and take our life situations. See, it may be different. You might be thinking it's hard to relate to people who have leprosy. But God took us and we took advantage of this opportunity. Now, you don't got to fly across the world to go and do this, because there's people on your very campus. There's people in your workplace. There's people in your families that need God's love, and they just need you to share an experience. You've been through something, so now you're a little bit stronger. You have stuff in your tools, in your toolbox. You need to take some of those things out and get to work in people's lives, because it's all about people. You want to serve God. You need to get to Matthew 25:30. And that's what it's about.